You'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAWN, of and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blues Time in the City, we're wrapping up our All Christmas Blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blues Time in the City this weekend before Christmas, right here.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
KUAW listeners, this is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades, coming to you every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW. This program features American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops and American veterans, encouraging American students. Please join us every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW.
Now on the air in Kansas City, the Cheryl Underwood Show.
We are proud to be part of the KUAW family.
The Cheryl Underwood Show. Weekdays Monday through Friday at 12 noon. KUAW around the world on KUAW.org.
Todd Tribbett, we gonna be all right here on the Jamal Bakes Show. I'm your brother in Christ, Jamal Bakes. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, fam, for another weekend, all right? We've got a big show for you, man. As always, the Rose Show Live will be here with her Faith Move next. And we talked to my man, the Laugh Therapist, later on in the show. We've got music on the way from Doe. We've got Corinne Hawthorne, Keandra Lockett, brand new William McDowell. Cannot wait to share that one with you as well, all right? And a whole lot more. Listen, follow me right now on social media.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial values sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAWN, of and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blue Simon in the City, we're wrapping up our all Christmas blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blue Simon in the City this weekend before Christmas, right here.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
KUAW listeners, this is
before me. Willie, why don't you give us an introduction today?
Find me at Karen Hands or at Garrett's Adult Daycare Center. It's up here on 85th and Home.
Okay.
Look me up.
All right. The guest in the building today, I'm really excited about this evening. This woman we're about to introduce to you, she's very powerful. She does a lot for the community. Appreciate her welcoming me and this family. And I'm gonna get to hear her story. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Wanda Williams. I am the president of Caring Hands and Hearts of Kansas City, and also the president of Garrett's Adult Daycare of Kansas City. As Willie said, 8550 Homes, the old Bank of America building, is where we're located.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yes.
It's good to have you in.
Yes.
So,
no, go ahead,
tell us about your journey into entrepreneurship.
Oh my goodness. How long do we have? Because I had a journey. I really did. I mean, I had a journey, still journeying. It never stops. My journey started, to get to my journey, I guess I'll have to start it from when I was actually young and not realizing where I was, where I was going, and where I was going to end up.
Okay.
I always have been the type of person that like to do things, kind of run things, they say a little bit.
Yeah,
I like organization. And that's just from a kid coming all up. It might have been just because I was older as well. But history-wise, I had a grandmother that had a business. Back in those days, it was rough. But she had a business out on 40 Highway. It didn't last, a restaurant. My mom also has had a beauty shop. She started out working, and then she owned her own beauty shop back in the 70s and the 80s, and actually 2000, up to 2002.
Okay.
And so I've kind of always been around women that had businesses. So to me, and I had some uncles and aunts back in the day that had business. Wives was there with them, grocery stores and that. As a kid, you really don't know, but you're really actually you're starting to learn from that because you're looking at what people are doing as they go, and you're like, when I grow up, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that.
I had that viewpoint too. My stepfather was an electrician. He was with the union, and eventually he went off to be an entrepreneur on his own. And then me and my mom used to help with his books and all that stuff. So
you see where I'm at. And so I guess coming up, starting to work, it's kind of been like I was, and I know now the jobs that I had, the way it was going is what got me to where I am today. And I learned down through the years, I was picking up something from each, for everything that I was doing. EEOC had started back like in 67, 68, where you could go in there and train. So training, I was typing and filing and this, that, and the other. That wasn't my taste. Still not my taste today. I got somebody else to do it, but I learned it. And I learned that no matter what you're doing, you should always know how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That way you can control it. You know if someone's leading you the wrong way or they being positive. So that was a learning thing. Short term, but I did it. And so at a young age, then I worked at a glass house, which was a factory, for about a year. Then I was living in East St. Louis with my dad. And so then I came back to Kansas City, and I actually had a job. Well, actually, I worked at a record shop for about 6 months. Here I am now, about 17, and not realizing that I did have some management skills because the gentleman would leave me there at the record shop by myself.
Oh, okay.
And I'm waiting on customers and this, that, and the other, still not realizing this is going to help impact me on where I'm going to get where I am today. And so then I get back here in Kansas City. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I got a job. My grandmother was new people out here in the world. So she found me a job with Foster's Record Shop. He was another entrepreneur. He had barbershop, beauty shop, furniture store, Philco. And so I got a job with him to be a secretary. I went to Kansas City College downtown, learn how to do shorthand and all of this stuff, because this is where I think I'm going.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm working for him.
But I thought you said you didn't like typing and stuff.
Well, but you had to learn. I didn't, but you had to learn it. But I'm looking like, okay, this is the kind. I knew I didn't want to work in the glass house no more. After I did that glass, that I didn't want that. So I'd rather sit there and type and that. So I ended up working there, and lo and behold, just working with him, he had the beauty shop, the barber shop. He promoted. So I actually ended up doing a lot of things, working in the record shop.
Oh, okay.
Here I am. What am I, 19? Him and his wife go to Vegas for some kind of convention, conference. So I got a big bundle of keys about this big on my hip.
Oh, he left you in charge?
Left me with the beauty and barbershop. You just kind of walked through, and there was the gentleman over there, Reverend Smith was a barber, and another guy, and then the record shop. But I handled all the money for all of the cash registers.
Wow.
And nobody could understand why it was me. But I'm walking around, and he's calling, checking, and he had a couple friends that came by, because mind you, I'm only about 19. And so he's to come and check in, because 31st was hot back then. You had one of the girls that did hair, Johnny Taylor was her first cousin, so he'd come in town, and he promoted. So I did a lot of being around a lot of entertainers too.
Oh, okay.
And so not realizing I'm doing contracts and writing up this and sending it, mailing it for him, and that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to just keep doing. I don't like this over here.
You did
this secretarial work. I'm just not really liking it. But I was liking, dealing with.
Did you feel like as the woman they tried to put you in that role?
Yeah, they tried to put me in that role.
Yeah, I deal with that too.
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
And I could do it, but it's like I don't want to do this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I'm looking at the two guys that go out and collect for the rental of the TVs and stuff. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the money they bring in, and I'm like, they gone all day on Saturday, and this is all they done collected. They doing something else. I don't know what they doing. So I kept telling Mr. Fox, you need to let me do it. Need to let me do it. So one Saturday, he said, I'm gonna let you do it. And I'm in this big white van, and I got these cards with everybody's payments on it. And I'm going to their house. Now, mind you, they behind in their payments. So I'm going in all the neighborhoods, and I'm knocking on the doors to them, and I'm like telling them who I am, and you're behind with your TV. I'm not going to give you my TV when I got done. they walked their TV and helped put it in the van. And I took it back to the shop. I said, when you bring your payment back, I give you my honor. I will let you take it back out. You know you're going to get if you just trust me. So I started going out collecting. And that Saturday, I would go out and collect. I met a lot of people, but I brought a lot of money in. Especially the wives, the women, they gravitate to us as females. Right. And so I would go sometime and they were gone and they'd leave the money there for me to pick it up. So, that was another learning lesson, to get to where I am today. I'm still learning. I'm learning the books. I'm learning dealing with people, especially as a female. We as females, they want to push us to the back.
Yeah.
Always
yeah,
do. But not realizing we're strong and we're positive. And you have to stay that way, because if you allow it, you'll get pushed to the side, and not even just from males, even females. You have other females. They want it, but they don't want to put the work and the time in that it takes to get to where you are. They don't want to do the work. They want it to just be thrown in their laps. And as a woman, it don't come like that. It's always harder for us. And so, moving on from that, I left there after 3.5 years working there. I went to Ford Motor Company. They had just opened it up for women.
Oh, okay.
They had Women's Lib had came out, and they had just opened it up where women could go into the building. Now, mind you, Ford Motor Company wasn't like General Motors. You had more men of color at General Motors than you had at Ford. Oh. Now, Ford, you out there, Clay Como, out there in the boondocks. Okay, so here we go. I'm the 6th female and the 2nd woman of color to go to work at Ford. So they bring us up, no bathroom for us. When I tell you it's a good 6-minute walk, and you walking fast to go to the restroom at that time. That's how far it was.
That kind of remind me of Hidden Figures.
Yeah, remember that movie? Yeah, they had to go across the way.
Oh, I'm telling you, you had to go a while, and nobody was trying to do anything for you. If you had to change in the coveralls or anything, you had to get there in time, and make your way on up. And by just being 6 women, and it was 2 women of color, I'm coming off a typewriter. So I'm going in. So now you got pressure, because they already thinking us as females not going to survive.
Right.
So they throwing you in the hardest jobs. You see, I got a gift from Gab. It didn't take me long. It didn't take me long. The job that they put me on was I was working with 3 males, none of my color, and they're older. You looking at them like they're looking at you. And so they gave me this job where we building bumpers, and it was Comets and what's the other car? It was the little small cars. I had to get in on I had to get in the car on certain ones and put the shift down and drill it down in there, and then come back with this big long torch and build these bumpers. So he saw I could do it. I was determined. Oh, my hands was hurting so bad. I've been with typewriter. Okay, so then they take me over here to another job. Now I'm with a man of color. I'm on this side of the line. He's on that side of the line. I'm looking at me. And so I take the bumper down when it comes, and I pass his over to him. And then I take mine's down, fender I meant. And I'm drilling mines with this big bow. You got these big air guns. They hanging up there, but you still got the handle. So the supervisor, he saw, she gonna do it. Oh, I'm hurting so bad. I'm hurting, and you got the men walking by and everybody looking at you, this female. And they spaced us females out. We didn't even see one another. They had us so spaced out. A couple of them was down in the truck department. That was another 10-minute walk if you walked from where I was. So you wasn't getting to see and have lunch with the females at all. So the guy, I guess he realized, he said, this girl is going to do this job. So I'm doing the job. I'm tell you, I get fired because I pass out. It's hot. I didn't know I was
oh no.
I didn't know I was anemic. And so I was at my 87th day. And they had this one, I don't want to say, you know how the white men can be. He was a general foreman. I passed out. They took me downstairs, and I had been late a couple of mornings because I had to be at work on the line running by 6 o'clock. I was late a couple of times. So by me passing out, and I didn't have my 90 days in. And that's what they would do to us. Work you to 89 days and then send you on. I go down to medical. They send a meat wagon up, they called, and put me on a meat wagon, took me downstairs, and they said, you need to see a doctor. So I go to the doctor and find out I'm anemic, but they fire me. But in the midst of firing me, I come back and I go find the committeeman. I go to the head committeeman, and he was white. And I just tell him, his name was Jimmy. I don't know if he's still living today, but he was a strong man. And then there was another guy that lived in Kansas. Can't think of his name now. He was black, but he was pulling the females. That's how we were getting in there. And I had a stepfather that worked there as well. And so he was pulling because you had to know some people
to work there
to get in there. And so I told him what had happened and everything. He said, well, okay, do what the doctor says. And when he releases you, come see me. So that happened. I went to see him. And doctor had approved that I could come back. I had did what I needed to do. You know, they made me start my 90 days over. Over? Now, this is where you see the difference from a female and a male. There was a couple of white males that hired in with our group. It was about 12 of us when we started in. He had some family issues. They didn't terminate him. They said he was laid off. But he didn't have 90 days in, okay? But here I am, the female. I done passed out. You know I'm not playing. They done had to take me down, was going to send me 911 me. So they let him come back. They don't start his days over. So I'm fussing, but I don't have 90 days in. So it's wondering if I'm going to make it through. Right. And this is the honest God truth. This man's name was, I won't put his last name out. He might be still living because he ended up being cool afterwards. Jimmy. He would stand up at the line, and I had a job. That job played out, and they put me on another job and across the line. And I had to get up under and hit 3 bolts on this side of the fender and this and make sure they're straight. Now, it was always good. But you see him.
They paid pretty well back then, even.
They did, because I even had the one white guy that I was working next to. When he got paid, that was my first week. They got paid every Friday. He said, oh, you don't want to do that. I looked at his check. I said, is this your check for a week? He said, yeah. I said, and you telling me I don't want to do this work? I got 2 kids, but I don't want to do this work. I was making clearing $73 a week when I worked at Foster's, for real. And I was working 10 hours a day and every Saturday at Ford. So my check was like $268 clear. Now, I know that don't seem like much now, but that was a lot of money. And so it got so, I'll clip a fast forward, it got so big, I was working 6 days, and sometimes they worked me 7 days. But I couldn't fight it because I'm still trying to get my 90 days in. Now, I'm already looking at how
they scheduled you for that 6 days?
That was,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they scheduled us. And I had to do it. But Sunday, I didn't have to do it. But he would make me have to work. The kicker was, I really didn't do nothing that day. I might drive 2 or 3 cars over to the lot, but it was just to make me come in there because I was a female. They was trying to break us females down. But, you know, they didn't want the females in the plant, period.
Okay. And
so, long story short, fast forwarded on got every time I got a little closer, he'd be standing up there like this, and one day he told the supervisor to send me to him. So I went there. He said, I want to show you something. I said, okay. These fenders tonight, I don't know what's wrong, but they're not even, but they were straight as it could be. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And then the repairman was saying, hey, they're fine. But don't take them apart. Them is fine.
So he was picking on you?
He was picking on me. And he's sitting up there. But the committeeman was really on my side. They wanted to see women come in.
Oh,
the men did. Some of the men were wanting to see women come in. So as it got a little closer, I think I started getting to my 60th day, because he did other little stuff to try to pick at me. But I just made up my mind. I said, I don't care what you say, what you do. This gonna be my job.
Right.
Okay. So I'm coming on to work. He pulled me off, and back then they take you down the hall. You hear people hollering, "Hi!" They making all this noise, and I'm like Michelle Obama now.
Right.
When I go down the hall, that really make him mad. Right. And then you'll have some of the guys say, "Leave her alone. She didn't do nothing. She didn't do nothing." So he kind of
just waving at him.
And then he had the union guy, committeeman, that's looking at. We're working, and they see women have got the women's lib and came in. So it's obvious women are going to come in there and work.
I don't want to date you, but around what time was this?
That was in 1974.
Okay.
1974. Women's lib came in. You heard women talking about, hey, I took my bra off, but I'm still a woman. I'm here. And you had a lot of single women then was starting to raise their kids.
Was that still around the time? I know that's why when we talk about suffrage and women coming into power and things, my mom was saying back in the day, women couldn't even get a car loan or anything.
Right.
If she didn't have a husband. And that was just in my mom's lifetime. So yeah, so that was around that time too.
Yes, it was around that time. Women Live is what came in and helped us. That's what came and helped us as females, and especially women of color, because even on the job, the car places, they were bringing the black males. They got credit for them, but when they bought a female in, you got double the credit. The company did. So they were pulling, because I'll tell you what, because when I left Ford, I'll tell you how I ended up at GM and went to management there. So we're there, but the funny part is when we get to like my 89th day, I looked at Jimmy and I smiled at him. I said, "You here tomorrow?" "Yeah, I'll be here." "What?" I said, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." Maybe. Because he could fire me, but he better have a good reason.
Oh, okay.
So I come in, time in. I make sure I done timed him. I'm checking my tap, pulling it. I'm checking it again. I know I got this timed in. You ain't gonna forget me. So I go upstairs and I get to the area, and I see him. I said, 4 o'clock when we started work. I said, 4 o'clock. I done timed in. I officially have my 90 day. You go to HELL is where you go. Okay. I'm like, anything else you gotta say, come on with it. He looking at me. I said, I'm ready for you. I said, I'm here and I'm not never going unless I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I said, so you might as well get ready. And so after that, they made my 90 days. They started bringing more females in. They started, but they was firing a lot of them too. And I mean, they was putting us in pits where they was taking tires, and the woman had to put tires up there. I know some females that have passed away. I mean, and some of it they got back medical issues just from some of that work they were doing over in the body shop, lifting up this, that, and the other. I mean, they put us there. But what they learned about females, we are enhancers. Because where you had them old people, I hate to use the color, but them white people chewing the tobacco and the stuff, spitting it all on the floor, areas all nasty and dirty. We as females, we come and clean up, but we start demanding, you gonna keep this area clean too. We working here. Because I had it with some guys, that's what they were doing. I was on nights, they were on days, and they just leave a mess. I came in early one day to meet them. I said, I work this area, and when you come, this job is not in a hole like you leave it for me. I said, it's neat and it's clean. And I'm telling you, I want it clean. I want it just like it is when you come in here. He's looking and he's tall and he's looking all at me. I said, oh yeah, I mean what I'm saying. This area is clean. I'm not gonna be cleaning up, walking over your spit and your tobacco and stuff. I'm talking out loud like I am now. And he's looking at me. I said, now you want to work as a partner or what? Because I'm not going nowhere. Now what do you want? You want to see
like
me
she
again?
need to go.
Well, you know, he knows because I came in early so that I could meet him.
Oh,
and so I started seeing.
So he know you meant business.
Yeah,
you come in to work early, just
yeah. He started seeing the area cleaning, but a lot of the guys start seeing most of us as females coming in. The company even started seeing we did a better job working than a lot of the men did, because us as women, for the most part, we want things in order, neat and in order, and we got an eye for it, and we're gonna make sure that's what it is. Where the men might just doom, this isn't working, just force it on. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna like, I gotta take this out because this is not right. I don't want to send this out. It ain't lining up right, Exactly. So that they started gravitating to, they wanted women in there, and then we made the place more fun, laughing and talking. Now, I didn't even cuss when I went there. So when they say something, I say story or whatever, because I wasn't a cusser. And, you know, they talk, so you'd have to tell them, hey, can you tone that down? They started respecting the females. And actually, women of color, they really started respecting. We're firm, we're stern, but for the most part, we're true. We're true. We're who we really are, and we don't have a problem, for the most part, of identifying who we are and what we are about. So I left there, went to General Motors, got married. My husband worked there, and I said, okay, one of us need to be at two different plants. So when they go on strike, somebody's always worked out. Okay. He had more time before it. I went to General Motors. I worked at General Motors, and like I said, Women Live had opened up. So they were trying to pull as many women as they could to come into management in different positions. Me, union. I don't want to be no manager. I did that, just kept shining. I don't want to be no manager. Now I'm going to say this. I didn't have no high school diploma either. And you were supposed to have a high school diploma. But I'm like, I don't need that. I'm not going to do it. So, I don't know, GM shut down in Leeds for a year, and we had to go to Kansas to work. And I guess working, I didn't have a hard job, but just the elements, the heat where I was working. And I just started looking at, I'm looking at the front end of a car that's not even colored, so I'm just looking at metal. And I'm looking at the front of it go, and I'm looking at the back. So now I'm looking at, is this where you want your life to be? You want to just look at the front of the car and look at the back end of it? Yeah, you can do the work, but is this what you really want to do? Right. So I'm there for a year. So I said, I'm getting ready to go another step further. I'm going to get into management. So when GM called us back, I go back, and I'm working. And so they have a sign-up list, so I sign up and go take the test. Now, your highest score is 11. I scored an 8. No high school diploma, no nothing. But they told me, my superintendent said, well, the reason we couldn't get you in, and it was true, there was another couple women of color that didn't work in the plant, but they had college degrees. And they had a couple of guys that was in college. And I scored just as high as they scored. But they were first, so we got to put them in. So I said, okay. So I thought, okay, well, you need to get that diploma because you're going to need it. And your math was weak. And they're telling me you need the diploma. So, you know, here we go. Some of the females. You going to go back to do that? Girl, they not going to get you in. You ain't going to get back in. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. You know how we are as some women. We want it, but we don't want to put the work and the time in to do it. And so I thought, okay, which way am I going? Well, this is what I know I want to do. How much time we got? So I know what watch myself.
We gotta.
We good. We about to take a break in a second.
Yeah, musical break.
So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I got to thinking. I said, okay, I'm gonna go to Penn Valley because General Motors will pay for you. You know,
Oh, okay.
tuition.
That's good.
They did tuition. I mean, they really helped me.
Mhm.
So I went to Penn Valley. Went through the math class. He's dead. I saw him in the paper, but he started me just from the basic and took me all the way up. So I did my math, and for the first semester, because I was just like, oh my God, how am I gonna make it through this school? So I did my math, first class, and so then the next semester, and people saying I'm doing work on the job, taking it homework, and just there. And I have a cousin that was a math person, and I'm like, am I getting this stuff right? Because it's just taking me all the way back.
Mhm.
Where I'm like, what was I doing when the teacher was teaching us this? I must have been running my mouth like I am right now because I don't remember this. So I went on and then I took speech there, and people steady saying, oh, they're not gonna even bring this back up. I don't even know why you're doing all of that. But you know, I just shut my ears down,
Mhm.
and so I just kept on going. And that following year,
Mhm.
they had opened it up again. Well, I done already got my GED because I went to class for GED, and after I was in there, I'm like, I should be able to pass this test without coming in here for this training.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna just take my test. So I went out to UMKC, took my test, 97, done. I'm already A in my classes. So I went and signed up again. Took the math test. I had 90 something on that. I had my GED, plus I had the classes.
Mhm.
So they were fighting over what department I was gonna go in. And so I ended up going in, and you know, you still got the ones that wanna I love us as women, but sometimes we don't support one another like we should.
Yeah.
No
You're
matter
right.
what, even if I don't make it and you're trying to get somewhere, I still should be supporting you.
Yeah.
But we don't. We'll want to tear each other down, which brings me what one of my professors taught me, and it's been with me, 30-some years. But I would never forget what he said. People, and I use it a lot, people are like crawdads. And if you know what a crawdad is, I don't know if you ever seen one. Crawdad just gets on a string and it'll crawl up on top of you. If you fall back down, and just keep on going, and it goes on up. And he said people are like crawdads. So what you have to look at when you look at where you know you're trying to get and where you want to go in life, and still at that point, I never thought I'd be where I am today, but I knew I wanted better. I knew I wanted more. And he said, sometimes you just got to tell them, I'll meet you on the boat. And then when you get on the boat, see, Michelle got it from me because that's what I did. I'll meet you on, I'll meet you on the boat. Because when she started, I said, oh, I used to do that all the time. I'll meet you on the boat. And that's something that stayed with me for years because he's right. You want to help people, but people got to want to help themselves as well. And we as females, kind of rough on some of the younger people today. You see, they want to get in there and they want to have this, that, and the other, but they don't want to do the work that it takes to get there so that you can survive. Because you can get there, but the kicker is once you get there, how you gonna maintain? How you gonna stay there?
That's real.
You know, you get up there. It's hard to stay up there because it's steady work. When you get there, work don't stop. You look up and you back down and everything's gone. And I've seen that so much with the work I do.
Yeah.
If you need to take the break, I'll take the
we
break.
we can take
and then I'll bring y'all up on the second half.
Yeah, we got plenty to talk about now.
Right.
She's extraordinary.
We're gonna play Always on My Mind by Young Boss. Of course, you're listening to Speak On It on KUAW. And again, this is gonna be Young Boss, Always on Your Mind.
I am a talker, but that's how.
And we are back. You're listening to Speak On It. And we cut the story. You said you wanted to talk about what are we in now, Pat? You was telling about the
I'm at the General Motors.
At General
going
Motors,
to-
yeah. So you were moving into management.
I worked on the line first.
Right. I want to talk about how basically how like I said, the whole women couldn't even get the loan thing, and then like we're moving toward, now we have our first female vice president. So did you think you would see that in your lifetime, or is it shocking to you? Or
It's not shocking to me. I think it should have happened a long time ago. With from the women, because I even say a lot of people don't think it, but I always said we had Clinton, that he was president, but she was a president.
To my Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary really was the president. I mean, she was the president. But there's it is, the strength of women. The strong woman that was there with him helped leading and guiding him as well. The same way Obama's as smart as can be. But look at Michelle.
Yeah.
I mean, he needed Michelle to get.
She was the lawyer. She the one that invested in him and seen the potential,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with us as females, I think it should have happened a long time ago, but like you said, it took a long time for women to even be able to do anything for us, like you said, signing a lease, or being able to purchase a home. That was a lot of things that helped. You hear people say sometimes, man, they was married for 50 years. Why did she just go off and leave? Well,
she couldn't before.
She could, yeah. And you'll hear I've talked to other women, they'll say that. Well, I couldn't get no job.
Yeah.
I couldn't go put nothing in my name.
Yeah, they're starting to talk about that more. How back in the day women couldn't necessarily leave. Like it wasn't that easy.
Well, we was. They talk about slave. We was strapped down even with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do a lot of things. We couldn't get out there and just go to school. I mean, it was just a lot of things that prohibit us as females to be able to get to where we are today in life.
Yeah, I think I seen somebody floating it around one time talking about, grandma couldn't leave, Earl like that.
That's right. That's right. And that's the truth.
And it was a lot of mouths to feed because back then, bigger families.
Well, you had bigger families, but still, something about they just didn't want the women out here as leaders and entrepreneurs as what we are today.
Right.
You get a good strong man with a strong woman.
It's
Sky's open.
Yeah,
it's open.
It is.
I mean, it really is. But women, when a lot of us, and I'm sure your dad has strong support for him going on to be where he is today.
He's no longer with us, but yeah.
Okay, well, he had it then, yeah. Because even with me, my husband, to get to where I am today, I'll say I did a lot of work, but my husband supported me 199.5%. Could he see the light? He'll tell you he didn't see the light, but I would tell him, don't worry, I see the light. I saw where I was going, and not realizing, working at GM, and I think a lot of people don't want to go through that. I saw people be supervisors and couldn't handle it. I even took a black male's position. He couldn't handle it. He quit. And they put me through all kind of stuff. I'm on a line with 39 men and all of them is white but one. I'm on days. So these people got 27 years in, 26 years in. They don't care nothing about that, but then they give me a lead man. He's Mexican, never been a lead man, so they set me up for failure. But we just came together with it, and even some of the racial stuff, I was called the N-words. I look at them and laugh. Okay, but get your butt on in labor relations. I'm going to put you out of here for a day or two. I was told by the committeeman, kiss his such and such. Okay, I will. You ain't all over. But where you want me to start kissing at? But right now, catch them jobs. And then we'll talk about it. But, that's just, I couldn't let negative things hold me back, because that's what it would do. I would get frustrated like some of the others, and then I just wouldn't even be where I am today. And so after going through that, when we came out of GM, my superintendent guy, he was pretty rough, but he called me to the side, and he was retiring, not realizing, and this is why I put this here, because this is how I really got where I am today. He said, not realizing, he said, one thing I realized with you is being in management. He said, it doesn't matter if this plant stay here or not. Whatever you decide to do out here in this world as a female, he said, you are going to make it. It should not be nothing that you cannot do, because you have shown it all here, because they threw me in all kind of areas. Then they put me on an area with women. You know how we as women can be. We see a woman trying to get there and we don't want to support. And then you got the ones that you kind of connect with because they're trying to get there and navigate. So anyway, left the plant, didn't realize what I was going to do. General Motors paid for us to go do some schooling. I went to school for nails. I did nails for 9 years. So I had a little nail shop, little booth. Did that for like 9 years. And my husband passed away, and I was like, okay, what's my next move gonna be? Because I never had a bunch of jobs. So I started trying to find my search. And I went to ADT. They were gonna hire me training me as a supervisor, but my car turned around all the way up there by the airport in the snow. I said, oh no, I can't do this. I said, get this job to somebody else. I went to what's the company that UPS. They were hiring, and they were hiring females. The guy hired me. I went down in the bottoms, and it was like October. He said, well, when December starts, he said, you'll start working the mornings, but you can't get off until you delivered every package. I said, okay, every package. He said, well, we done had some people be out there as late as 9 o'clock. I said, 9 o'clock at night? I said, oh, no. I thought about it and called him back. I said, I don't want to waste your time. Give that job to somebody else that wants it. So I'm like, okay, where am I going? So I ended up selling cars. So I could see that the economy was starting to change. And I did very well selling cars. I was in Olathe. Then I was out in Blue Springs. But Olathe, Ford is where I stayed for about almost 4 years.
Wow, okay.
So I have a daughter that does this kind of work. Her brother had started. He passed away, and she took over. So I would go volunteer with her. And so the work that I do, I support people with disabilities to live on their own. So we staff 24/7, 399 days a year, because that's what it's like sometimes, just being facetious.
So you go to their homes, or?
Well, we get their homes, set them up, and then I staff. So we have staff in there 24/7, because you got people with disabilities, mental issues, the whole 9 yards. So this is my 20th year.
Wow.
Of doing Caring Hands and Hearts. I was non-for-profit from 2001 to 2011. 2012, I went to for-profit. Formed it as a S corporation. I've been on 85th and Holmes, and I am so amazed myself. I was renting a place off of James A. Reed, and I got 2 office buildings, and we redid them, and then we just outgrew it. And so never in my life did I think that I would be at 8550 Homes at the old Bank of America building with 14,000 square feet. Yeah. And I'm just looking. I'm just in amaze, because I'll go look at this one place I thought I was going to get in. And the guy that was showing me the properties, I guess he thought I was playing. And couldn't afford it, I guess. But he had... and we went back over there. He checked my credit and stuff, and I guess he saw, okay, she can. I'm like, I'm serious. I've outgrown this. And I've got some other plans. In my mind, I knew I wanted an adult day program.
Right.
Well, I was really going to do it for the special needs people. And then I just decided I wanted to do adult daycare. And I've always been one, don't put all your apples in one basket. So I decided to do the adult day program, and then I'm with the Department of Mental Health on this side. So 20 years there, and my adult day program has been prepared. I just really didn't get it going for a couple of years. Lost a daughter, that kind of threw me back, and then I lost a brother, that kind of sunk me back. And then reality comes back in. You got to step up and do what you're gonna do. And so we got that going. At one while, we had like 90 something employees.
Wow.
In my office, I have 7 people in positions working. We have house advocates. I call them house advocates because sometimes you say managers. Managers sometimes with the younger generation,
Yeah.
they think if they don't know management means you get in there and got to dig in and work as well.
Mhm.
And mostly I had a lot of females that work, and I've had people come in and work. I had one girl work for me 13 years.
Wow.
And she went to school to be a nurse, and I'm one of them. I don't have no problem with what your plans are in life. Just do what you're supposed to do when
While
you're
you're
working
here.
with me,
Mhm.
and I support you 100% on going forward in your life. And I've had a couple of them nurses. I've got a gentleman now. He's doing his clinicals. He's been a manager for me in one of the homes for about 8 years. This kind of work, people come and go, but I have some loyal people that have stayed and been there for a long time. I have my office staff has been there for a long time. I have family there. I'm one of them. I believe in, I look at the future, and I try to look at the future for the family, the younger people, and then I try to look out for people that's putting their time in and working with you. And in my office, we got the females and our males and that work there, and nobody's really trying to go anywhere. I mean, we're solid, kind of like Valerie Simpson say, solid as a rock.
So what would be some because we're about to close out here, what would be some any advice you'd have for female entrepreneurs?
Say that again.
What would be some advice you would have for like a closing remark for female entrepreneurs?
Or wanting to be female entrepreneurs, period. I just say stay focused. Don't let anybody change you from what you know you want to do. The road may be a little rough. That's a part of it. Because when you're going through the rough times, that's going to get you when you get to the top. I tell everybody, getting to the top, I hate being on the top. Because that's when your work really come on. You can make it to the top, but the goal is how you going to stay on the top. How you going to stay there and be on the top. And just trust God for one. I always say that because he guides your footsteps. And open doors for you, pass. And then just stay professional. And you just have to put what you want to do and where you want to go in your vision, in your eye, and you can't let nobody distract you from that. It doesn't matter whether you male, female, because you'll hear them say, well, women, you don't need to be doing this, that, and the other. Well, it's nothing that we as women cannot do. All we got to do is stay positive, put our time and our energy and our work in, and we do that anyway. So that comes easy, and just don't get distracted.
It's such a, let me say this real quick. She's such a powerful woman because not only does she has the adult daycare and everything, she's a real estate entrepreneur. She's a real boss. And ever since, and I wish we had more time. We can really just go.
We can always bring her back for another show.
Yeah, we sure
That's
can.
fine.
We definitely could do that. Yeah.
Okay,
but this will get Willie get on Willie.
Get them together. Get them together.
Yeah, she definitely be on my head.
Yeah, and the other thing too for entrepreneurs, I've seen, and I didn't say this here, but like in 2002 is when I opened up my business with the Department of Mental Health, and there was not any, very few. Put it like this: when you went to a meeting, put your sunglasses on. So you know what I'm saying. Wasn't many of us. You saw women, but you didn't see us. And somebody filed a little suit thing, and they got a little click going. But look what happened. They got in there. When you're doing this kind of business, you got to pay your taxes. You got to do your bill. You got to go. You got to stay on point.
Yeah.
Because something about us as females, they always digging at us, and then even for us of color. But you got to stay on point. Cause I saw so many of them come in there, and they gone. I need sunglasses on now when I go. And you know, I talked to a couple of them. She's been now about 4 years, and she'll call me from time to time, and I'll just kind of give her the information. You know, okay, it's gonna cost you a little money to do this, but protect yourself. You gotta protect yourself, and you gotta follow. And you can't worry about what everybody else is doing. You got to stay focused because this is your livelihood. This is your passion. This is what you want to do. So you can't let anybody hold you back or pull you back. If I fall, it's gonna be because I chose to fall,
right?
Not letting somebody else do it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go around the table real quick. Everybody give a little information so people can get in contact with them, and we're gonna close out. Willie, you want to go first?
My name is Willie Garrett. I got a business as transportation for Garrett's Adult Daycare Center, and I also run a maintenance business. You can look me up on Facebook.
Yes, Anthony Hodges on Facebook, Boston Up Magazine. Also got the One Love Foundation. We working on, we really about to put that together, pushing for STEM programs and coding for the youth, and just get at me,
Wanda Williams, Caring Hands and Hearts, 8550 Holmes Road. We're contracted through the state, but you can call me. We're on. We should be on. We got a little website that's out there because I'm contracted. I really don't have to do a lot of advertising for that. Our adult day program, COVID kind of held us back, but I already know where we're going. So we're in the same building. So if you have anybody, a parent or anybody that you need to place an adult daycare program, please contact us.
Okay.
Please.
And I'm Serenity. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. That's SERENITY, then 2 underscores and no word speak. And of course, look up our website and platform page, which is Prose and Verbs. That's PROSEANDVERBS. And then also proseandverbs.com if you want to check out our website. All right, I'm going to sign off, and I'm Serenity reminding you to spit your piece.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.